Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I have Tatton from the awesome band out of Sacramento, Loose Choir. If you've listened to the show, you know that Loose Choir was on one of my threes of 3 things that I've been listening to that you should too. And I always love it when I have a band that's been on my threes that I care enough about to give to other people to listen to, and then finally have someone from that amazing band here. So, Tatton, welcome to the show, man.
Great. Thanks for having me on, Shane.
It's an absolute pleasure here. Like I said, you guys made it into, what I consider one of my favorite segments of the week of the show, and that's our weekly threes, where I have 3 things that I am very passionate about and I'm listening to, and I really want more people to hear it. And you guys popped into there because of just the amazing, debut to come out of something that is just so different, and it kind of harkens back to older sounds. I'm an older
person, if anyone can tell from the show, growing up in the 80s and 90s, listening to music. And I love when something old becomes new again. And that's where I came with that nostalgic term. And you guys have that like nostalgic, it harkens back to a 90s sound where there was like a kind of a bit of a droning to guitar and bass and a beautiful vocal over the top of it, and it kind of puts you in a trance when you listen to it. And it's a huge thank you for doing that and giving it to me, and without it sounding nostalgic, it just sounds nostalgic.
Cool. Yeah, that's a nice term. I'm glad to have that term applied to us. That's cool.
So what is it when you started, when this, I guess, why don't you give us a quick wrap up of like how the band became to be what it is to your debut?
Okay. Yeah. So Noah and Noah plays the drums, and we had played in punk bands together, starting when we were like, I don't know, when I was like 17 or 18. I'm 40 now. Um, and so our band, the Red Robot, hadn't been a band for, I don't know, 15 years or something, but we found ourselves living about an hour and a half apart from each other. And I have a bakery business, and I was going to Sacramento once a week. And so I just started for a farmer's market. And so I just started staying over and playing music on every like Saturdays that I went down. Because Noah and I were just like, let's like just record something. And so we were trying to just kind of start something. And his partner, Rae, who's the singer in Loose Choir, we didn't really know that she had this incredible like voice and writing capacity. She had kind of been quiet about it. And so Noah and I were starting to work on some songs, and then she she gave Noah she like sent Noah a couple demos of stuff she had written and recorded, like acoustic guitar and singing. And I don't think Noah was supposed to share them with me, but he did and was like, we should just have her in our band. What do you think? And I was like,
Yeah.
totally. And I guess part of that is too, is even though Noah and I were really, we, grew up in just like with, punk, like Epitaph, Fat Records, like kind of bands, and um, Fugazi and stuff like that too, that um, we had always, both the two of us had kind of gravitated a lot towards like female vocalists, and like bands like That Dog, or
Oh my God. I
uh,
I
yeah,
used that as so when someone asked me, so what's their sound like? I'm like, do you remember like it's kind of like That Dog. Um I'm like, Ray
nice.
also has like this like Dolores's little flutter, Dolores from the Cranberries, a little
Yeah,
flutter in her vocal too. I'm like, but it's so funny that you said That Dog because I legitimately compared you directly to that.
that's great. Yeah. Um, yeah. And I think, and for me, it was kind of like, yeah, we wanted, I don't know, it basically we got Ray in on writing with us, and it just really started to click. And it was really fun to kind of, she had never been in a band before, and then we were like adapting her kind of singer songwriter demos into like a band arrangement. And so yeah, and then it was kind of just like, let's just do a recording project, and that's how it really started, was like, let's just write and record. And it took like a year of just because we do live in different towns, and everybody's always busy. But yeah, and then yeah, so it was like a process where we would kind of actually wrote and recorded. We didn't have all the songs on the album Shy Side written all at once and then like go into the studio. It was actually kind of just like writing, and then they would come up to Chico where we recorded with our friend Chris at his studio here. So that's kind of, yeah, how it all formed. And then actually, we didn't, Chris Keene, who is in the band Surrogate, and a bunch of other bands too, he recorded and helped like produce the album. And we made friends with him actually through that process. And then now he's playing guitar in the band with us when we play live. And then we've been Casey Dietz, who plays in the Velveteen and Americas, and pieced out and now a hard chiller. He's like an incredible drummer that we've just known since back in the day, but he's also bass player, guitar player, and he'd been really wanting to play bass in a band. And so then we got him luckily to join up with us and start playing. So that's kind of, yeah, I think that's the quick, like how the band came to be to what it is right now.
So in between that, I mean, the hearing that process of how it kind of came to fruition and where it is now with your album out, was there it kind of sounded like it felt right at that moment to want to go and record, because sometimes when you're sitting there and you're playing music and you're having fun and you're going back to, oh my God, I forgot how awesome it was to play music with you, and then something new comes about it. Was there any hesitancy of just being like, are we really gonna like want to go into a studio and record this, or are we just going to keep this for ourselves and have fun? Like, was there a shy side to say to do that?
Actually, I think it was more that we really wanted to record and we didn't know if we would play live. It was that was the there was a shy part to that. That was kind of like, I don't know how we'll put a band together. I don't know if we will. How, just practically speaking, it was kind of like Noah and I had both been just like, we would have a lot of fun recording. And so that was kind of the seed idea, was like, let's just write and record an album, and who knows what will happen beyond that. So yeah.
So I mean, how did it come about to say we want to take this further and start performing live? Like, was there a couple test runs with some friends and stuff, and it's playing to a group of people that already know about you and about your lives, or was your first time performing as Loose Choir in front of a bunch of total strangers?
It was, so I think, I think we just we put out a couple of singles, and then it was like, we're just like getting show offers like from old friends and stuff too. It was like once there was a little music out there, then it was like, come play live. And so then we just started thinking about, who do we have around us who, we could enlist. And it did kind of just come about naturally that Chris, who recorded it, knew all the songs, and he's just like a really incredible, musician that just, you could like probably hop in with anybody. So yeah, and then the first show we ended up playing was in Reading, which is where Noah and Rae and I grew up in Reading, and there's a venue there called the Dip, and some old friends own that, and so it was kind of, the first show was actually sort of like a hometown reunion thing where like a bunch of old friends and family came out, and it was really fun. It was like a packed show with a bunch of familiar faces, and so that was kind of like how the first show came about.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
was it hard to? I mean, if you're running a bakery business and you also have this strong love of music, how are you managing that right now with playing some shows live and everything?
Yeah, that was definitely the kind of thing with starting the band. It was like, yeah, I don't know how much, time I can commit, but let's just, let's have fun and play music and record. And the business is a little over 5 years old. I've had a business for like 8 years now, and so I am kind of getting to a point where I can step back a little bit here and there. Like, if I just schedule it, I can kind of make it happen. I think, yeah, there's always the challenge of just like 5 people's schedules lining up and all that. But so we're not super like, we're not really a working band. Like we're just, yeah, it would be nice to be playing more often and to be getting together more often, but um, it seems like manageable that I can do that with everybody, kind of the amount that everybody else is able to, fit it into their schedules as well. So yeah, but I don't do the farmers markets anymore, so I'm not I'm not like on that kind of schedule. So.
Well, I want to dive into a little bit of your early life with music, and for me, it always goes back to like that first like musical memory, like something that I remember as a child that that really stuck with me, prior to finding, my own way in music and finding my own bands and stuff. There was, for me, it was hearing the Beach Boys for the first time at 6 years old, and just
Nice.
not knowing what the sound was that was coming out that I was so drawn to. And then my life is kind of, I don't even remember how old I am, like 48 or something, but to the point where music has been the mainstay, right? It's been in
Yeah.
my life and I found my way. But like, do you kind of have something that you attached yourself to really early that kind of piqued your interest with music?
Um, well, my first dog was named Huey, and when I was a kid, I don't know if I was like 5 or so, like from Huey Lewis and the News, and I think
Mm-hmm.
like I came up with that. um, so there's kind of like and I remember like jumping on my bed and listening to Bruce Springsteen when I was like 5ish or something. So that's some of the like earliest musical memories, I guess, of the kind of like 80s rock stuff that spoke to me, I guess, at a
Yeah.
really young age. And yeah, and then I don't know, my mom had a thrift store when I was about 10, and she brought home an acoustic guitar and was just like, "Oh, I thought you might, be interested in this." And I think I was just constantly like messing with it and trying to figure it out. And so then she was, then she got me into guitar lessons, and so that was kind of how that started
How
there.
did
But
how did you at that age? How did you take to guitar lessons at first? Because it's always an interesting question for me because I've been a proponent of like not having real guitar teachers not teach fucking theory to a 10-year-old and just teaching them
right,
power chords so they can create and move on from it. And so how did you take to that as at a young age?
yeah, I think I had a really great guitar player that or guitar teacher that fits in totally with what you're saying there, which is like he would figure out the songs that you wanted to learn right in front of you, kind of a thing. And
Hmm.
I think that there was something about that of like seeing somebody, like watching that process, because he, a lot of that stuff, it was, Nirvana and then like No Effects and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, the power chords. And so it was very much like motivating, or you're right, is like so that you could like just produce something that you were into. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was simple enough. And like seeing that, I think like also seeing that process of somebody like just turn on the tape player, listen to it, and be like, okay, this is how it goes. Write down the tab, send you home with it, and like then you can like play along with it. So it, I, I took to it very well. Like I think in the first couple of years, it was just like I would kind of, you know, I just really, I don't know,
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
spent a lot of time with it. Yeah,
yeah, you had someone who was willing to adapt to what you wanted to do, which is great. And watching how certain people came up and certain people that I know stepped away from music and go back to it later on in life, and it's usually because like it's so hard, right? And when you're first doing things and when you're younger, your hands are smaller, you can't grip the neck, and you're
right,
trying to do these things. And it was, for me, I had always said to people, I'm like, you just need to teach a child how to create something very simply and fast, and then they can figure out other things along the way. Whereas for me, like learning piano at first and then trying to take guitar, and it's just like that's not I want to create something really really fast. Like I want to
right.
create something and learn it immediately and rush out and meet friends and start creating and start doing my own thing. And it didn't really happen that way because it was like, no, this is the structure, this is how you need to do things, this is how you're supposed to learn. And I'm just like, fuck this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Yeah.
After those guitar lessons and you're kind of becoming proficient at guitar, was your first thought to like run out and find people or other kids doing the things and being into the same music you were and kind of forming that first ever pivotal band, even if you never played a song, you just came up with a name?
Yeah, I think pretty quickly the the guitar teacher I had like hooked me up with another kid my age, and he was like really into Led Zeppelin. And so we would get together and like play Led Zeppelin, like try and play, plug our little practice amps in and like try and play Led Zeppelin songs and stuff. And yeah, and then probably around freshman year in high school or something is when I can remember like there was a punk show in the drama room. Um, and there was a band called Sick Fisted, and they were just like going off and yelling and, bouncing off the walls. And I was just like, oh, damn, this is definitely what I want to do. um, so, yeah, there was definitely that kind of a pivotal uh, moment of like, I think it was right around that time that I first, found some other band choir kids or people who also were playing guitar and drums and had, started like little garage bands.
Nice. What was the name of that very first band?
It was called Three Vigilantes, and there were five people in the band. So that was, I don't know, I can't remember where that came from, but yeah,
It's not bad. It's not the worst name we've ever had here for a first band name. So
yeah,
it's
okay.
not bad. Don't worry about it. You're not didn't fall into a tough list here, but yeah, no, it's. I always love to find that out, like, because when you're a kid and you're coming up with things, like, it's just like, yeah, this is fucking cool, or it's ironic, and then
Right.
when you say it later on in your life, you're like, that was the dumbest shit I think anyone could have
Yeah.
ever came up with.
You're like, well, we were 13, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, do you remember kind of like that, a band that you found yourself like coming up, going from those days of dancing on your bed to Bruce Springsteen, and kind of finding a different path into music that was going to sculpt you? Do you kind of remember finding another band that, or artist that you were just like, oh shit, like this is, other than Sick Fisted, like
Yeah.
a proper band that you
Right.
heard that you just wanted to be like, oh my God, this is it.
Um, I think it really was Nirvana. I mean, because that was probably when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I think is like when Nevermind came out.
Mhm.
And like, my aunt listened to Nirvana. Like they like Nevermind was the album that sort of like brought that underground music into a much more wide view. So I think that definitely was, um, yeah, that makes sense to me. I think Nirvana would be the one.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
was in high school when that came out, and it's funny. I have conversations all the time about Nirvana with people at my record store, and it's like, how important and how pivotal they were to the music, sculpture of people. It's so funny to think that, especially for me, like how big and prevalent they were in a short-lived period of time, and the fact that, like, I don't think I've ever gone back and put on a Nirvana CD or record or anything. Like, it's like they were so personal and pivotal at that moment in my life, and like they were so influential, but I don't think I've put on Nirvana in the past 25 years.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's just one of those bands that, like, hey, I give them all the credit they deserve, but it was like it changed the landscape, and I think Nirvana is responsible for close to 5 million new musicians in the world. Like, I think
Right.
that's how important they were to say, like, hey, you can do it too. You don't have to look fucking pretty. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to like, you can just
Right.
be you and make fucking music. And I think that was their, I don't think their music was the most important thing. I think it was what they were standing for, and what they did, and why they were so influential, that it just showed that everybody, they were, none of them were the greatest at their instruments. Kurt was a good songwriter. He's not the greatest, but it was like, it was just, look, you can do it too. And I think
Totally.
that's how important I don't think they get enough credit for that. And I think they get too much credit for the music standpoint. Like, it's just weird to me. I'm just, I'm that old cranky guy who's like, hey, listen, yeah, they were great, but it wasn't great music. Like, if you really go back to it and listen to it, it's not the greatest, but it's what they stood for that made them so powerful and so influential.
Totally. Yeah. And just that energy. It's like, yeah, I think that they, like Dave Grohl or Kurt, like would talk about like, yeah, I don't know that we could do much more than what we were doing. Like there was kind of a formula to it, and it was relatively simplistic, but like just the raw energy of it, I think just really spoke to so many people.
Now, when hearing that, was that something, or is there like another artist or something that you found on your own that you were so excited to show your friends that you found that you knew they probably never heard of? Was that, or was there like another band that you can clearly remember, like running to your friends being like, you have to listen to this right now?
I mean, the next one in line is probably NoFX was like the big like that felt like to me like, oh, this is the kind of music nobody knows about, but they're like totally badass and it's really fast all the time and it's you know, it's melodic, but it's also like angry and it's, um, yeah, I think that that was probably kind of the one that felt like, oh, this is an underground thing that, um, you know, Fat Records like had like the zines where you would order your you order the CDs or T-shirts through like the paper
Yep.
zine and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think that that felt like this is like something different. This is um,
And
yeah,
knowing it was like coming directly, like Fat Mike was filling that envelope with the T-shirt and
right,
the
yeah,
record, you know.
yeah,
And who knows, there could have been some cocaine on on the label when
yeah,
they're shipping it
probably,
out. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean those, especially like being from California. I mean, finding that. I mean, I'm from New Jersey, and I remember finding No Effects and just being like, "What the fuck? This is amazing!"
Mhm.
And like the Fat Records and Lookout Records was another big, huge record
Right,
label that changed my life growing up. But yeah, those are the types of things where it's just like you're running around, like, okay, I just got this other band from Fat Record. You got to listen to this, and running around and showing people. That's
totally,
those moments were great.
yeah.
Now, do you kind of remember your first concert you ever saw live? Like your first live concert that wasn't like, say, in church or something, and did you get to choose it? So there's two questions: your first concert ever and the first concert you ever got to choose to go to.
Um, let's see. I think I want to say that the first concert was Weird Al because he came to Reading, where I lived, and there's like a civic center, and so that was like, I feel like that was like the first like big name, like recognizable person um,
That's
that I
awesome.
saw was
I
Weird
love
Al.
I love that.
Yeah,
So I'm not
and
a
he
real
did.
musician, but
Yeah, but he
yeah,
did a costume change for like every song,
yeah.
um, which yeah was pretty impressive. And then I wonder what else. It's like I feel like another one was well I at that same venue when I was younger I saw Third Eye Blind. It was almost like this is who's coming to Reading. I don't think I was particularly like that stoked on Third Eye Blind, but I think again it was no effects. Like a friend of mine, his dad drove us to San Francisco, and we were like in middle school, and we saw no effects at I think it was called the Maritime was the venue, and we were like just like out in the mosh pit, and I remember his dad afterwards. He was like a poet, and he wrote a poem about the kids in the mosh pit. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I think that was like the first real like chosen like we were going to go on a pilgrimage, and Zach's dad is taking us to San Francisco to and we had our like spikes and our like punk outfits and stuff. So yeah.
Now, if you look back at pictures of that kid with your punk outfit and spikes, like, was that who you really were, or was that who you wanted to be? So
Yeah.
sometimes I think that's important too, like because we all maybe tried to want to be something that we weren't, but we really, really want it. And and for me, punk rock too. I'm sorry to go up, but like punk rock was like you could almost fit in no matter what, as long as you stood, you followed the guidelines of the punk rock way it was supposed to be done.
Totally. Um, I think that there is a core for me that, yeah, that was a part of like who I am. I beyond like middle and early high school, I didn't, continue on with all the punk like attire or style stuff. But like, I mean, I still listen to that music, and it's still like just like loud music and angry music is like something that still really is like a part of my life. And uh yeah, there's definitely a core to that kind of just like raw yeah, expressive kind of stuff that I think I was tapping into something that was like a deeper like longer term thing.
Yeah, and I love that. I don't know if you remember the movie SLC Punk.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the punkest guy out of all of them wasn't Bob or Matthew Lillard's character. It was Jason Segel's character Mike, who was just like dressed as he was like the pseudo nerd, but he was the punkest out of all of them. Like
Right. Yeah.
it was his regular core and inner mentality. He was the punkest out of all.
Right.
And that's kind of the things that I always loved, and that's what I think I loved about punk too, because like, yeah, you could dress a certain way, but you didn't have to be punk as fuck, as Mike would say.
Totally. Yeah. Agreed.
Now, how about your first performance as an artist? As a young artist playing in front of people. Do you remember the first time like you played in front of fans or strangers?
I mean, there was a number of like guitar recitals that they did for the music store.
Okay,
Where I took guitar
yeah,
lessons, but
let's
more
remove
like
those.
band performances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably that like somewhere around that same like drama room at high school where I had seen this band Sick Fisted. I can remember like playing to a bunch of peers kind of thing. That's probably one of the earliest shows I could think of.
Do you remember that feeling you kind of had of doing that, like nerves, anxiousness, or let's get this over with, or were you very excited to have done something like that?
I think I was pretty excited from the start. It was kind of like somehow, like I think I'm kind of a relatively like mellow, quiet-ish kind of person, but there was something with that performative stuff where it, yeah, like the energy I could, uh, I could kind of like let go and
Yeah.
just like be taken away by the energy and like kind of surprise myself at like, uh, my own ability to just kind of go off, I guess. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's what performance is all about, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of it's really who you are. Kind of the times that I say you become who you're supposed to be sometimes in a performance, and it's
Right.
really who you are, but in your everyday life you're completely different, because a lot of us are more subdued, a lot of us are more cognizant of everything that's going around us, and then when you have a chance to perform, you get to become who you're supposed to be and who you really are. And I think that's where it pains me that a lot of people don't get to do that. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's pretty cool when you have that opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, do you have, through your entire life now, in your 40s, like a performance in your career that, for good or bad, kind of occupies that like a little it's that core memory that it just is never going to go away and pops up whenever you need it or don't need it? Do you have like a performance or sometime somewhere you perform that, for good or bad? I usually like to hear the bad ones, but like for good or bad, what stands out because of it?
Yeah. Like a particularly bad one, I'm not sure if something comes to me there. Well, one was we were with the Red Robot. We were on a little tour. We were in Salt Lake City, and um, somebody, the other Matt, who played guitar in the band, there was some guy who was really stoked and was kind of like jumping on stage, and they were but like this guy got like just smashed in the face with like I think it was the head stock of Matt's guitar. And it was kind of, yeah, it was one of those shows where you're just like, not a lot of people showed up, and some dude was like into it, but then his face got, and he just like took off and left, and we didn't, I don't know, I don't know that
Yeah.
anybody knew what happened. So that was kind of like a bad one that was like, oh, like what, um, just, yeah, like, so there, I don't know, that's kind of a bad one that comes to mind, but, yeah.
All right, you have a good one. Like, what? Like, did you have an opportunity to play with, another band that you never thought you'd have that opportunity to play with? Like, something that stands out that you're really excited about, that was kind of a monumental performance for you in your life.
Um, I think like two things come to mind, and one is that there was the first final show that the Red Robot played, and that was just one of those where like it was one of the most packed shows we played, and we played every song we ever wrote kind of thing, which was, probably 25 songs or something. Um and our friend Casey filled in on the drums, and Noah, who played the drums, like got on guitar for a song, and it was, there was a wolf mask involved in it was just kind of one of those super high energy shows, and felt like, um, yeah, a really like
I mean, Wolf Mask says it
monumental show.
all.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and then I think, the first Loose Choir show like stands out there too, because for me it was like Loose Choir has been a learning experience to play in a different way, where like uh, I'm not singing. I'm having to pay attention to what I'm playing a lot more. I never used effects pedals before, and now I have like a pedal board, and I'm learning to like create more textures with the guitar and all that sort of thing. And there was kind of a like new era of for me of like playing music in this different way. So I think that was um, that kind of stands out too as one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you a hard question about Loose Choir, which I think is pretty hard. And
Okay.
people usually say that it's a hard question, but I need an answer to it. And it's if no one ever heard Loose Choir before, and you can only play them one song of yours that best describes what you are as a band, what song of yours are you playing for them?
Yeah, I can see why people say that's a hard one, because everybody's like, well, we don't have a genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think I would say pass.
I was going to call you up, but I didn't want to talk. I haven't been in a great mood, and I didn't want to put that on you. Is this the path that you've chosen? You're calling and so on. Or could it be a diversion from the harder things you wanted? I should have asked you, are you okay? But you sounded way more than fine. Now my vision is blurry. I'm paralyzed that way, and sometimes I feel like too small a web to weave away from me, too small a world to make my escape, too good a memory to forget the way that your voice breaks when you say that you're Too small a web to weave away from me. Too small a world to make my escape. Too good a memory to forget the way that your voice breaks when you say that you're okay.
The song Past, it's not one of the, like, we do have some songs that are a little harder, but it's a little more of an open and sort of pop oriented song. But I think it really like highlights Ray's vocals and just like songwriting ability and an effort to, as a band, to kind of um, play where needed and don't play where not needed kind of thing. I think that's probably what the song I would have to choose. Yeah.
All right. Now, would you say that's your favorite song you've recorded? Because it can be different too. So is that?
Yeah. For some reason, I think Santiago is the song that might be
I love
that might
that
be a
song.
better choice actually than Path, but I think that might be the favorite, like as far as how they turned out in the recording, just for whatever reason, the way that the kind of drums sound on that one and the way everything comes together. Like, yeah, I think that might be my favorite one we've recorded.
Yeah, I love Santiago, and it's
Yeah.
funny. Neither of those were my picks that I played for people. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
I love when there's some discrepancy sometimes between what I would pick and what the artist picks. So.
Yeah.
Now, when you were putting the album together, was there a conscious effort in song layout for an album? I mean, because you're kind of in the realm of, let's say my age wise, where we grew up listening to albums where there was like this cohesive and like the album telling a story type of thing instead of just throwing some things on there. Was there an effort? Because, starting out the way it does with Sun is like, I mean, if you're not brought in by that first song, people just check out, right? And I think you started the album off with a way that is going to keep people there forever.
Cool.
Was there a conscious effort for that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like you say, that's yeah, the track order album sort of concept is definitely was something we thought about and something that I've always really like appreciated, and just always kind of look for like those albums that are an album as a whole is like these kind of masterpieces. So yeah, I think that it was obvious to us that Sun on Sea would be the first track. And I think it was kind of, that was the main orienting thing. And then from there were definitely, just, I feel like you kind of go, okay, well then this maybe needs to be the last one, or this, I think we put Patina and Waves Existence were like next to each other because they were the two most different ones. And it was kind of, thinking about like, well, this is the middle. There's kind of some kind of crescendo or like middle of the album, and then it comes down.
And I think that's why Patina
Yeah.
Patina is what I play for people.
Oh, that's rad. Cool. Yeah.
Because it is different, but it's like it shows the as I often say, the simplistic complexities of what they're trying to do, and
Right.
it's exactly of, okay, this is who they are and this is what they can do all in, but this is how they sound when they want to just sound beautiful. So it's like, that's why there's always these different ways to look at songs, and being the nerd that I am and finding that like, oh my God, this is the one. This is the one where it's like,
Yeah,
hey, like
that's
this is
cool.
what they do.
Yeah, and it was really neat that it turned out that for the vinyl, that's like song one on side B,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that and it's so funny. Like I had a kid come in one time and start talking to me about music, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this band just did this concept album." He's like, "All these songs go in order and they tell a story." And I look at him and go, "I'm like, hey bud, yeah, that's not a concept album. That's an actual album. That's how albums
Right.
were created
Yeah.
for for 50 years. That's how they were created. And just in the past, 15 years, when singles became a thing and every song can sound different because you're just throwing out singles at a time, I'm like, that's when that changed. I'm like, but that's just an album. That's exactly how they were made, man."
Yeah, and that whole topic is an interesting one where it's like, sometimes I'll discover some kind of band, someone sends me a song or something, and then you go and look at it and they have like 5 or 6 singles and they've been around for 3 years or so, and it's like it's a little disappointing when you don't get that, when
Listen,
you know,
you just
yeah,
said what I say all the time, and it's what
yeah,
I deal with on the show is, if someone wants to come on and they'll send me their music, and I'm like, listen, man, you got to have more than 4 singles, because I'm that person that if you send me music to listen to and I go find it and you don't have an album out, I'm not listening any further. Like I'm stopping, because I don't want to fall in love with 4 songs and have nothing else. Like
right,
that to me is, I mean, you sometimes I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not having more out there, and it doesn't matter if you're working on it, but like you said, you can have 4 songs. They've been out for, the band's been around for 3 years, and then you're just like, okay, well, when's the next time I'm going to go back to this? It's really hard, and it's really hard to attach yourself to someone. And that's, a lot of times why I just want to push people who like, so when you do hear the song that I'm going to play for somebody and they're like, oh shit. And then they have this whole album to go to, and now they can put it in their constant rotation, as opposed to 1 or 2 songs. Like
totally,
it's so tough nowadays. Like it is tough, especially when algorithm pops up and you hear this song and you're like, oh my God, this is fucking great. And you go find the band and there's 3 singles out in the past 4 years. And you're like, whoa.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah,
We are in a weird place, it's we're in that double-edged sword of where it's such a great thing that there's so much music that you can obtain and listen to and find new stuff. The fact that I can talk to you from across the country and we can talk about music and I can find your music, as opposed to the old days where it was from zines or going to your local store and someone telling you about it. Like we are in a good place, but we're also in a bad place where you can just put a song out and it be, a killer song and then nothing else ever again.
right, exactly, yeah.
Now, in your life, do you have a band that never lets you down? Someone that you constantly turn to listen to when you don't know what you want to listen to? It's just like Rolling Stone always categorized it as your favorite band. I have a couple favorite bands, but I always like, there's always a band that I find myself turning on when I need something to listen to. Do you have a band or two in your life that never lets you down, that you constantly find yourself listening to?
Yeah, probably like in the last 10 years or so, that band is Land of Talk. And it's actually like that band is where the Loose Squire name came from, is one of their lyrics. Um, and so that was kind of, they're like definitely an inspiration to Loose Squire. But Elizabeth Towle, the singer, guitar player in that band, it's just the number of different albums that they have definitely occupy some different, like the first few are kind of like, obviously she's really into Fugazi, but like she's doing this different indie kind of thing and just cool range of vocals. And yeah, and then as they go, that she's just using all these really neat like textures, and every song has some kind of weird ambient noise in it that just like works perfectly. And yeah, there's something about her. It's some of the writing is it's kind of simplistic, like the song structures can be kind of like a you know repeating a verse and chorus kind of thing. And but it's, I don't know, that's one that just is, it's both like easy to listen to but also like inspiring at the same time. So yeah, Land of Talk is one of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. And listen, sometimes when it's simplistic, verse and chorus, and like, it's, as long as it's done right, it's just
Totally.
beautiful.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't deny it. Like that undeniable, like, yeah, this is so simple, but why the fuck couldn't I do that? Like,
Yeah.
how about
Totally.
how about a band or artist in your life that I listen, as much as we are in life where we can say we just don't give a fuck, we call guilty pleasure, something that in that 1 second someone catches you listening to, you kind of, before you get all the bravado and say fuck you, I like it, this is what I listen to, but it's that guilty pleasure that people will be really surprised that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to.
Yeah. Um, Probably the Counting Crows album, August and Everything After. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's like they're kind of another band that since I was a kid, I've loved Counting Crows. I think they're, uh, kind of their, as they went on, the later albums I didn't get into, but yeah, I think that's kind of one that I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, really? Like, that's what you're into? But yeah, I've always loved them.
All right. Yeah, a little different than mine. I mean, I got caught listening to Jamiroquai really
Yeah.
loud once, and
Okay.
some, people know me as like, a punk rock, alt guy, emo-ish, and just catch me listening to Jamiroquai. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I fucking love it. Like,
Yeah.
just something about it. Like, I'm all in. And I remember I had it blasting in the store the one day, and my sound guy comes in, and I don't think we had ever talked about it. And he just fucking gives me this look as he walks through the door, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm listening to Jamiroquai as loud as possible in here right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. And he's like,
Yeah.
I never would have pegged you for fucking. I'm like, dude, I love it. Like, I love it.
That's
All
great.
right. Do you kind of remember the last song that you cried to, or the last song that made you feel really emotional? That you
Mm.
think make me feel emotional if you tell me, and then I go listen to it later.
Yeah, there probably was something. Okay. Yeah, because I told Noah about this. The band Bane,
Uh huh. Yeah.
they recently came out with a 25th like anniversary remaster remix of the album. It all comes down to this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those where a lot of there's all these like remaster remixes out there where you're like, okay, like, yeah, I don't know, like, it sounds pretty good, but this one was where like it somehow the drums sound like they were just like a different drum set, and like the bass is growlier and louder, and like it just, the album became kind of new, like, even it's, for some, that's one of the hardcore albums. I'm not super into a lot of hardcore, or don't know a lot of those bands, but that one album for some reason like stuck with me since, high school. And yeah, when they came out a couple months ago, I think, with that remaster, I listened to it a bunch, and there was a couple of times that it was like bringing tears to my eyes. And yeah, I think I told Noah about that, and he was, yeah, like, yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. So all
Yeah.
I have to say is, wow, that's like, like, like it's not, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On or something. No, it's fucking Bane's
Yeah.
25th anniversary. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a great, listen, kudos to you. That's a great fucking answer.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
love it. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an incredible album, I think. But yeah.
That's awesome. All right, here could be another hard one. You got 5 minutes left to live. Meteors crashing into the earth. We all know it's going to be over in 5 minutes, and you have to listen to one song and one song only. What song are you listening to?
Oh my God. Um, hmm. Now that you said Celine Dion, like, my heart will go on. No.
You can't get it out of your.
Yeah. God. What's coming to me is Round Here from Counting Crows.
All right, hey,
It's kind,
that's
yeah,
I
it's
get
kind
it.
of like, yeah, the world is ending, and it's sort of like a happy, but it's like a melancholy, but sort of like you're good with your own melancholy kind of feeling song. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
nice. Okay, hey, listen, it makes sense. It makes
yeah,
sense. I love
yeah.
that.
And that's one, there's so much that informs these kind of things, but that I had when I was younger, a friend of mine, um, way in high school, a friend of mine died, and that was like the song they first played at his funeral.
Wow.
And I, yeah, so I think that there's, you know how those, it's just like things, eras and moments with music like really inform where that like sits with you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, my next question, and I'm going to preface this by saying, we are, unfortunately, there's a really bad thing happening right now in California, in LA. And this
Yeah,
question has always been on here and a staple. So it's kind of, I don't want to be insensitive to it, but it will also go along and understand with how things are going. I kind of before this, I was like, am I going to ask? I'm like, but I always ask it. So, it's because I think the question is important. And I think some people may have just had to deal with this. So, if you can help them in any way, please go do so in that, listeners here. But so my question is, do you have a piece of music memorabilia or something musical that if they're, you were to have to come across a fire and leave your house, it's that one thing that you would grab that means the most to you musically in your home? Other, as long as your family and friends and animals and pets get out safely, what's that one thing that if you had that opportunity to grab to take out musically, what would it be?
Um, well, it's probably this particular guitar because I did this. So, I live in Chico, which is not far from Paradise, which is, burned down an entire town back in 2018.
Yeah.
And then just this summer, we had the park fire, which I could see from my house. And we took off that night to my mom's house, and she lives 20 minutes away. But I grabbed one guitar when we were leaving. Um, and it's like a Mexican made Strat that I bought. It was like actually when I first was meeting Noah, who plays drums in Loose Choir. Kind of part of the way I met him is he sold me this guitar, which turned out wasn't even his, but he sold it to me for like $90. And I've recently it was like a white or a black and white, Strat with a white pickguard, but I recently put a tortoiseshell pickguard on it, so it felt more grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that's kind of like the one piece of music equipment that has the most sort of history behind it. And yeah, that I think that's what I would grab because I know that that's what I did grab
Yeah.
the
Listen,
last time I thought there was a
bring
chance.
you
Yeah,
you just brought new meaning to the question that I asked. Like you actually have done that, and
right.
that's that scariness that you had to go through, and so it was kind of easy for you to answer. And again, I didn't want to seem unsensitive to what's going on right now, and that's not my intention. It's to continue a conversation. But
No, I mean it's right. It's there's so many places, not just in California, but especially in California now, where that's like, yeah, it's just kind of a thing. Like we know a lot of people, multiple people who've lost their house or whatever, and it's like, yeah, you have the go bag and you just go, even though it's like, it's probably not coming here, but it really could have that night,
yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
completely understand that, and thank you for sharing that and your actual experience with having
yeah,
to do that. So, but we're gonna kind of wrap this up here in a minute with our weekly 3 segment, the 3 things that you're listening to right now that you want people to check out. But before we do that, I want to say, Tatton, thank you so much, honestly, for creating the music that brought us together. That's, to me, it's the most powerful thing we have in the world is music and musical creation, and bringing strangers together because of it is I think it's a special thing, and I don't think it's used enough in the world to actually do what we do, and where strangers can become fast friends, and it's all because of music. It becomes easy, and we can
yeah.
talk, and we can be from different places and have different upbringings and different things, but we can all agree on good music and becoming friends through it. So thank you for creating the music that brought you and I together today, because to me it's just fucking fantastic, and I've really enjoyed talking to you today.
Well, really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, man.
But
You're welcome.
right, yeah, it's important, and that's why I
Yeah, I
say, and
agree.
even in my emails, like to people, that if I want them on, keep creating and I'll keep listening, because it's important. Through all the crap that's out there and through all the shit we got to go through, music is the one thing that's out there that never judges you and is always there when you need it. So
Yeah, and that's, that's it's been such a great thing to do Loose Choir because it's really helped um just preserve or enhance the friendships and make friendships and have the community with with people that I love. So yeah, right there with you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're going into our weekly 3 segment right now. It is, so you may need to pull up your Spotify playlist, but 3 things you've listened to recently that you really want people to check out. You give your 3, then I give my 3.
Cool. Okay, let's see here. So there's a band called Ida that I don't think they've made any new music for 10 or
They
15
haven't.
years,
They
but
have not.
they've been re-releasing some like alternate mixes of some songs.
Mm-hmm.
And they re-released they did a new release of the Will You Find Me album on vinyl, and so I got that, and yeah, they're just like such an incredible band, and I do go back to them. And then these like pared down mixes are really they just really like highlight what they do with the vocals, and they're kind of just they make these beautiful songs like kind of extra haunting to hear them that way. So that's been something that I've been listening to that I think, yeah, I would encourage other people to listen to. Um, gosh, I would say that Bane album. I'm not sure how that lands for for a lot of people. He's like a weird,
That's
got an
fine.
interesting voice, but yeah,
it-
it's really interestingly like written for that style, I think, and just like the kind of like groove stuff that happens, and um, yeah, it's really enjoyable to listen to that like remixed and mastered too, I think. And then I also really liked the new Karate album. I've been going back to that.
yeah, it was. I had a great time actually getting to see them perform.
Oh, really?
Last year, yeah, and I was just like, wow, they're still great, and I think all their early albums are just completely underrated, and people that have never heard them like need to fucking really, really find it, seek it out. Numero 3 did, released all of them on vinyl, which is really awesome. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like it's kind of that like it's just so like it was so cool. I guess they're just going along with their ethos, but they put out the new album, and it's still just very like raw and like open, and everything is just like it's just holding its own so well, and it's just kind of like fun too. There's something about there that's like it's incredible like musicianship, and there's just kind of like this fun vibe to it. So yeah.
yeah, no, I will, second that. Definitely check it out, people. That was anybody remembers me talking about two of the bands that I was really looking forward to seeing last year that were playing again was Pinback and Karate. And
Oh yeah.
They
Nice.
both did not. It wasn't lost on me that I was getting to see them again, and just be better at what they originally created. Like it's
Right.
just so cool to me. So,
Oh yeah.
well, it's a great 3. Now it's time for my 3 this
Okay.
week. My 3 this week, I'll start off on no particular order, guys. It is a band called The Native. They have a EP out called Tramlines. They got a bunch of other music out there. They're UK based band, pop rockish, have a little Frightened Rabbit sound to them, a little U2 sound to them. Like it just really, really cool. Check them out. Next is a band called Columbia Mills. This could probably fall under the line somewhere, maybe sometimes for me as a guilty pleasure, but they're an Irish band. The name of the album is Heart of a Nation, and it's kind of like synthy with electronica and dance, pop, rock, but it just works. It's one of those things where when I hear something, I'm just like, do I like this? Like I question myself, and then I listen to it over and over again. I'm like, wow, I really do like this. It may not have fallen to something that I normally would listen to, but I really, really enjoyed it. And last but
what
not,
was the name of that band again?
Columbia Mills.
Mills. Okay.
Yeah. And last but not least, in my estimation, a supergroup. And that depends on where the bands you normally listen to fall into in your life. But band is called Pile of Love. It's members of Drug Church, Military Gun, State Champs, and The Story So Far. And they have an EP that came out that's called Super Sometimes. But yeah, Pile of Love. It's, again, in my estimation, a super group because it's members of 4 kick-ass bands. So, but those are my 3 for
Nice.
this week, guys. But
I
Tatton,
have them noted.
nice. Send me messages. Let me know if you like them, and
Yeah.
especially the Columbia Mills one. You can even just write WTF in an email to me if you want. Like,
Okay.
but I really enjoyed it. It worked for me, so
Yeah.
I leave it at that. But that's the whole point of this entire segment of the show. You're either going to find something you love or you hate, but the only thing is you're going to find something new, and that's what's most important to me. So, but Tatton, thank you again so much for being here. I really appreciate everything you do, especially musically, and just continuing to make music. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. And I want you to keep creating, because I still need more stuff from Loose Choir. So I hope
Cool.
that's in your future, because I appreciate what you guys already have done.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, this was really fun. Like, thanks for having me on for the band.
Yeah, it's what I love to do. It's the best part of my day. So, thank you again so much. And everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Loose Choir, and have a great fucking time.
The smoke from the street
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.